Hello, 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 this is Thewhiteboatman and welcome to the Games of the Year 2016, the third year in a row. Sorry I'm a little bit late to this, but I've had stuff to do and I've been struggling to decide what's the Game of the Year. But I am going to actually tell you now. But first off, we're going to start off with the worst of the worst. And the nominations are for worst game of the year, just to get it out of the way first, are No Man's Sky, The Division, and Ghostbusters. No Man's Sky could have been a good game, but overhype and not very well done marketing led it astray really. Same with The Division, but at least No Man's Sky tried to make itself better with 3 updates. The Division just made itself weirder and weirder and then added paid DLC that's not populated 2 months after launch. Both of them lost 90% of their population about a month after launch and have struggled ever since. Ghostbusters, however, is worse. Crap DLC, which is just basically recolorings, as well as boring gameplay and no real connection to Ghostbusters. Don't mind about the video in the background, it just pauses at this point. Okay, anyway, Ghostbusters is just a really crap game. It struggles in gameplay, struggles in story, struggles in DLC, and a £40 price tag for something that should really be £5. That is the worst game of the year, 2016. Moving on to something a little bit more upbeat and positive, we're going to go to the Dark Horse of the year. If you haven't ever seen one of my videos before or heard the phrase Dark Horse, basically the Dark Horse is a game that isn't really hyped up so much. Well, no one thought it would be very good, and it turned out to be pretty good. And the nominations are Watch Dogs 2, Titanfall 2, and I don't really think it should get a nomination, but Dishonored 2. Dishonored 2 shouldn't really get a nomination in my opinion, but I gave it one anyway because everyone knew it's going to be good. But me, I didn't think it would be my sort of game, I didn't think it would be very interesting. But in the end, I actually decided, you know what, I'll give it a try, and it turned out to be really, really good. I really enjoyed that game, but the only problem is it's a bit short. And as far as we know, there's no additional content coming for it. Yeah, definitely not for free, probably. So, I don't know if it deserves Game of the Year, but it was a very good game. Watch Dogs 2, I bought at the same sort of time. I'm not really a big fan of it, to be honest, but I can admit a lot of people probably are a fan of Watch Dogs 2. A lot of people feel it was amazing, but coming up to release there was not really any hype for it, so that's why it's on here. But I think the Dark Horse of the year is Titanfall 2. People were going crazy after the technical test. Not everyone thought it'd be a fail. Worst game of the year, worse than No Man's Sky. This would be awful. Reddit was ripping it to pieces, and fan pages just collapsed because it just didn't have any magic. It just wasn't a very good game. Watch Dogs 2, at least everyone knew it wasn't going to be. Well, no one really knew because there was no beta. And Dishonored 2, people thought it would be a good game, just I didn't know. But Titanfall 2, I played it in the technical test and I'm like, no, that's a shit game. No one buy that. But then it came out and they fixed all the issues. Well, albeit a couple of issues were still in there. And then I could really see and appreciate the game it should be. So that's why I think it wins Dark Horse of the Year. Now moving on to something a little bit more Xbox related, seeing as that's my primary console. Games of Gold of the Year. Nominations are The Wolf Among Us, Murder Cell Suspect, and Sunset Overdrive. Sunset Overdrive was my 2014 Game of the Year, and it was pretty surprising that they actually gave away a AAA title from 2014 all in 2016, but they did it, and it was a very good game. But to be honest, I'd already played it, so not really for me. But for people who haven't played it, it was very good. For Multi-Soul Suspect, another game that I'd already played. That was a very good detective game, a bit buggy, and when I played it on Xbox 360 there was a bit of a frame rate issue, but I haven't played it on Xbox One yet, so I haven't noticed if there was a frame rate issue. But it was a very good game, Multi-Soul Suspect. And finally, The Wolf Among Us. That was a very good game. Yeah, I really enjoyed The Wolf Among Us. It had a very decent story, good characterization, actually probably my favourite Telltale game ever. So that's why I'm going to give that Game of the Year, no, not Game of the Year, Game with Gold of the Year, because it just was a very good game. But any of those could really be, any one of those is a winner, in my opinion. All of those are brilliant games. Anyway, moving on. Most disappointing Game of the Year, and we've got No Man's Sky and The Division. There may be more disappointing games, but I think beyond a doubt these two are my most disappointing games, because I had both of those and they were absolutely awful. The Division was good up until level 30, that's why I'm giving it to No Man's Sky, because though it's being updated, it's taking forever to become a decent game. And, well, I didn't pay £40 for an early access game. I paid 40 quid for a game which I thought would be complete and fun. But no, it was more like an early access 15 quid game than anything. The Division at least was actually good until level 30, but it had no real end game, which was very, very disappointing. But, you know, it is what it is really when it comes down to it. The Division was a bit of a awful game, but at the same time you could also call it a good game. It all depends on the way you thought of it. If you like grinding for stuff, it's good, but the fact is, update after update it became more and more confusing, and things got nerfed, like crafting, and I, like many other players, lost interest and went back to a game that was a bit more simpler to understand, and a bit more fun, like Destiny. But anyway, No Man's Sky was a bit of a boredom, just constantly doing the same thing, no real end. Because once you ended, spoiler alert, once the game ended, it just puts you back to exactly where you started. And you're like, well, what's the point? What's the point in going through all that? I don't see the need. I still now, right now, at least for the Division, seeing yourself at this high tier is satisfying. But with No Man's Sky, there's no satisfaction. It just resets the game once you complete it. What's the point? You've gone through everything just for nothing. At least you can make your own base now, but God. And there's a creative mode which makes it a little bit less grindy, but just a disappointment. Okay, moving on now to remake of the year, and this year I'm going to give that to the Ezio Collection. Other nominations are Batman Return to Arkham and Bioshock the Collection. The reason why I gave it to the Ezio Collection, you saw a bit of gameplay of it earlier, it was just 3 brilliant games for one great price, and it also comes with a few videos as well and all that jazz. Bioshock comes close to that, but they didn't remaster Infinite on PC, which is just a game breaker for me. They should have done a bit something else with Infinite. But the Bioshock 1 and 2 looked pretty. But Return to Arkham was just a demaster, it ruining the graphics of a pretty decent game. I don't really see the need for getting getting it, or Bioshock the Collection, but the Ezio Collection, in my opinion, is essential. If you've played the games and feel nostalgia, or if you're a new player to Assassin's Creed and just want to play one of the best games of all time, plus 2 sequels. But moving on from that, we're going to go to best handheld game. And the best handheld game, in my opinion, is Pokemon Sun, because it had a pretty long campaign. It was pretty good. I mean, I'm not really a big handheld gaming person, but I felt it had a pretty long campaign, kept me occupied, and it was pretty interesting at all times. It was a bit difficult, which is kind of good, and it made me really enjoy that sort of game again. And the art style was also really nice. I'd say also the best platform of the game now, and I'm going to say Origin on PC, and it's surprising, but I think they've done a lot with Origin Access, bringing out a couple of big games. Origin Access getting 10% off all Origin purchases, and Vault, and also the UI updates. Origin's actually got really good. The only problem is playing with your friends is a total pain in the arse. But apart from that, I think Origin is platform of the year, which is surprising. I just don't think the consoles deserve it this year. Xbox had no exclusives. PlayStation had crappy 3, and they're saving all their games for their own announcement. And the PS4 Pro isn't full 4K, so bit of a disappointment in that area. Nintendo only really put out Pokemon Sun. From what I saw, I didn't really hear much from Nintendo, because they were bringing out a Switch, which might get 2017 platform of the year. You never know. Okay, now the big one, Game of the Year. And there was 3 games this year which, in my opinion, deserve it, and I couldn't decide. I just couldn't. Those games are Uncharted 4, Titanfall 2, and Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1, brilliant campaign, brilliant multiplayer, and everything was done respectfully. Titanfall 2, even better campaign, and a different sort of multiplayer really, but which was also really good. Uncharted 4, great attention to detail, a generation-defining game. It's just like the old Uncharted's. I haven't really played it, but I play the old Uncharted's. It's just like them, but with new graphics, a great attention to detail, and a beautiful story with beautiful areas in the game. I just really believe that should be Game of the Year, Uncharted, really. But the others 2 were just so good, and I've played the other 2, and I really enjoyed both of them. So I've given it a compromise, really. Uncharted, for all records, is Game of the Year. It's got multiplayer, it's got everything. It's a brilliant game, and I think that deserves Game of the Year. But I'm going to give Titanfall 2 the best all-rounder of the year, best all-round game, because it is a really good and really fun game. But I do think that Uncharted 4 should be Game of the Year, and Battlefield 1 should get the best multiplayer game of the year, because it has a brilliant multiplayer, brilliant graphics, but the DLC practices are letting it down, whereas Titanfall 2's DLC practice is perfect. But the only thing that's letting Titanfall 2 down was that technical test, and the fact that Uncharted is just such a good game, with such a good story, with such good characters, though Titanfall 2 is a brilliant game as well. And that's it really for the awards. I mean, I've got to give it to Uncharted 4. So if you stuck around this long, thank you, and I'm going to have to give a couple of shout outs to a couple of other games which I think are good, which are Doom, really good campaign, not really fan of multiplayer. Overwatch, good multiplayer but no campaign, doesn't really deserve an award for that though. Gears of War 4, great campaign, not a fan of the multiplayer again. But Comment down below if you agree with me, or if you don't agree with me. It's Mass Effect Andromeda gameplay you're seeing, and I'm going to have to see you later. Goodbye.